Hey yo everyone, my name is Jessica. You know Bandai for their incredible Gundam model kits, but what happens when they try their hand at an official tabletop miniature? We're finding that out today with a deep dive into the Zeon Rush starter set, and the results might surprise you. Alright, let's crack this open. I've been buried in Space Marines and I needed a palette cleanser, so this showed up at the perfect time. The new Zeon starter set for the Gundam card game, which also includes these assemble miniatures. Now this is a 2-for-1. It's a full card game where these minis act as tokens, but they're also a preview for a dedicated miniatures game later down the line called Gundam Assemble. The box itself is really clean. I like the art. Now, it's all in Japanese, which is a bit of a letdown, but unfortunately that's what's only available in my local game store. So if you actually want to play the card game, you're gonna need some translations. But I picked this up more for the miniatures, so it's not a huge deal for me that I won't be able to play the card game. Cracking it open, we're immediately greeted by these sprues right on top, and we've got the deck for the actual card game. Now, looking through the cards, I was pleasantly surprised. It's actually pretty blinged out with some foils. But check this out. The Sinanju is in here, and it makes me wonder, why did we just get 3 Zakus and not a Sinanju miniature? It's a bit of a missed opportunity, if you ask me. However, it's more likely that they want to save the Sinanju miniature for sale later down the line when the actual Assemble miniatures game comes out. So the sprues are pretty small compared to your standard Warhammer fare, and take a look at this. Even the bases are on the sprue, which is pretty interesting to me. It's not something I see a lot in the miniature space. Now, the first thing I notice is that these are monopose, which is sort of expected when it comes to a starter set. But the big thing for me is that there is no glue needed. So you can see these little mounting points on each part. They just sort of slide and snap in together, kind of like an easy to build mini from Games Workshop, or just standard fare for people who build Gunpla. And speaking of Gunpla, the plastic feels exactly like a regular high-grade kit. It's that same familiar Bandai polystyrene, and the detail, it's really sharp, it's really good at this scale. Now, the build process is pretty straightforward. I barely even looked at the instructions. The part separation is so clear, you just know what goes where, which I think is pretty good even if you are a beginner builder. And here they are, all built. And unlike the regular Gundam kits, these actually do need paint, and I gotta say, I really like the poses they gave them. This one doing the superhero landing is pretty great, and this one running, swinging the axe is also full of energy. However, this middle one is a bit standard. It's probably the weakest amongst the 3, but it's all good. I think it's a good effort from Bandai nonetheless. As a big Zaku enjoyer, I'm pretty happy. As for the painting, I do apologize, I don't quite have a lot of footage for this since I did paint this on my own time, but I do have a little bit just to show you guys. Alright, now that the builds are done, now it's time for the fun part, paint. I'm going to be turning one of these into the Red Comet himself, Aznable, by giving it a red base coat similar to the ones in the Universal series. As for the other two, we'll stick with a more traditional olive drab scheme. I tried a few techniques on these, and I'm super happy with how they turned out. First, step 1 was a solid black primer from Hyro Paints. I always like starting with black on mechs, since it gives you an instant shadow in all of the crevices. Then to really accentuate the shapes, I hit it from above with a zenithal highlight using the Arcus White ink. This makes the details pop and gives you a great map of where your light is coming from. For the base coats, I went with the olive drab from Armored Komodo. For these 2 standard Zakus, and for a special boy, I used the vibrant red from Arcus Hobby. This is going to be our foundation for the Red Comet scheme. Next, I went with the black rubber color from Hyro Paints to pick out the mechanical bits, the joints, the foot soles, and the parts of the machine gun based on my reference photos. This starts to break up the solid color and really adds some more detail to the miniature. Now here's where we get into the new technique. Once everything was dry, I sealed it all in with a coat of satin varnish, also from Hyro Paints. This is a crucial step to protect the acrylic paint underneath for what comes next. And this is the magic step, an oil wash. I mixed some mineral spirits from Armored Komodo with raw umber and a touch of raw sienna oil paint to create a really super grimy rich wash without it being too dark. I slathered this stuff all over the entire model. The beauty of oil washes is that they have a super long working time, so they naturally flow into every single panel line and recess. After sitting for about 15 to 20 minutes, I took a makeup sponge with a tiny bit of mineral spirit and started wiping down the wash of the raised surfaces. It just leaves that perfect grime in the recesses while slightly restoring the base coat. And honestly, I find it to work like magic. Once I was happy with the oil wash and it had fully dried, which usually takes a day or so, I locked it all in with another protective coat of satin varnish. Safety first. Then I went back and cleaned up the main armor panels with their original base colors. This step makes the shading from the oil wash really sharp and defined. It's a bit of work, but it's so worth it to do so. The final step was some edge highlighting. I just mixed a little bit of a brighter red with my base red and the lighter green with the olive drab. And I carefully ran it along the sharpest edges to make the details really pop. And here we are, the finished product. I gotta say, it turned out way better than I expected. The oil wash method was a game changer for me. It created so much depth and grime with minimal effort. It's something I'm definitely going to add to my regular process in the future, especially for mechs and vehicles. If you've been thinking about trying oils, I highly recommend giving it a shot on a project like this. It's not as scary as it seems. Honestly, I'm blown away. These miniatures are an absolute win. The no glue snap fit design is geniusly simple, and they are an incredible canvas for new painters. Trying that oil wash technique was the perfect choice for these, and it's a method I'll definitely be using again for my future projects. As a palette cleanser from my Space Marine backlog, this was the perfect project. It was quick, satisfying, and honestly, just a ton of fun. It's a fantastic bridge for Gundam fans to step into miniature painting. If this is the standard quality we can expect from the full Gundam Assemble game, I am genuinely excited to see what they do next. I just really hope that we get a Sinanju or a Sazabi. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what mobile suit you want to see them turn into a miniature next. Alright everyone, take it easy. I'm Jasiga, gang boss of the Sea Gang, and I'll see you in the next one.